Hello, my name is David, and you are listening to Change Your Mind podcast, episode 11.
One, two, three, four.
If you are here for the first time, let me introduce my mission, which is to redefine personal development and to make it much more accessible for everyone, and convince as many people as possible that change is possible, no matter what is your current situation. In this series, I'm interviewing inspirational people and I'm sharing my thoughts and experience, which make you think and encourage you to take an action. My today's guest is Janis Ozolins. He is known for explaining ideas visually and teaching others to do the same in his course. We are talking about his story, how he quit from 9 to 5 job, why he decided to making visuals after several years of trying different things, what stays behind his creative process, and why visuals are so powerful and attractive. If you find this episode interesting, please share it with your friends and post your thoughts in the comments. So, right now, let's move on to the conversation.
Three, two, one.
Thanks, Yanis, for joining this conversation. Actually, the story is that I found your visuals somewhere in the internet, and I was following you for some time before I was thinking about to invite you to the my podcast. So, thanks again for accepting this invitation. And as usual, I'm starting podcast with the introduction. So, if you can introduce you and say a few words about you.
Thank you, thank you. My pleasure to be here. Short intro for me. I don't know. I'm still working on it because usually people like, Johannes, what do you do these days? And I'm like, I'm this creator type of guy online. I do some illustrations and stuff. So it's really hard to kind of figure it out. But yeah, in general, mostly people know me for kind of explaining ideas visually online. I usually share like some sort of simple ideas in like a visual format around creativity, creative business, self-help stuff, that type of thing. And yeah, I've been doing that for like two years and around 1.5 year, I think, full time now, which is super cool. Yeah, I totally have made me do the let's say the creative career full time, which was a big dream of mine for a while. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So I guess we can go into details later down in the conversation.
First of all, let's start with your background. Actually, because before you start your own company, let's call it in that way, you work on something. So first of all, what is your background actually? What did you do before you start your own company, and actually why you have decided to move into something like you do right now?
hmm Yeah, like I don't know, for like a pretty long time ago when I was in like my teenage years and around 18 years old, I was really into downhill mountain biking. That was like a big deal for me for the first part of my life, and I think around when I was like 24 years old. And then it was just school and random jobs that young people take, all the weird stuff. I didn't have any like higher education, so I didn't have any specific field where I were able to go. And like kind of that passion led me to work in some bicycle shop, and that bicycle shop led me to some customers which were from IT, and they were looking for some new employees in the IT field, and for some reason I took a chance and kind of went to interview there, and that was around I think 10 years ago, and that was kind of my entrance into the world of IT. And then basically for like 4 or 5 years I did like technical jobs in just corporate IT, and then I moved a bit in like the managerial positions, like I was IT project manager and that sort of stuff. uh, and around 5 years ago, I kind of was a bit, not I guess stuck, but it just felt like the same old thing. And I was a bit bored at my work. And one of my friends kind of came up to me and said, like, hey Janis, we don't have any like higher education. Do you want to go to this college type of thing, which is kind of business, kind of psychology? I was like, yeah, whatever, let's go, let's see. I really don't know what I want to do with my life, but sounds cool. A bit of business, a bit of psychology, let's do it. So we kind of went there, and there was one study which was basically something around how to create business, or creating a business, or figuring out a business plan, or something like that. Basically, the whole subject was, you have 1 week, prepare a business idea, and then you will like come in front of the class and present your business idea. And I don't know what exactly happened, but I remember there was a clear switch in my head, because I always have been this like kind of entrepreneurial type of dude, but I would say wannabe entrepreneurial, because I was doing a lot of talking, but not a lot of doing, and I never really took it seriously. And that day, I somehow kind of figured out, Giannis, let's figure out a business plan that you actually could start, where you don't need some sort of magical investment, where you can do it like aside of your 9 to 5 job, start something, figure out what you could do. And that led me kind of to a lot of Googling and figuring out about this like online world. And then there was, all the, it was, yeah, like there was some big names, all the maybe, like Pat Flynn's and whatnot from Smart Passive Income, income.com, and like other,
Mhm.
all the Tim Ferrisses and all those people who were like kind of early icons from the online business world. And that really inspired me. I was like, oh my God, this is cool. I want this. I love this. This looks super interesting. And at that point, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything like about self-help, about internet business, like complete zero. But yeah, that sparked that kind of desire. And yeah, I never stopped since. It was just binging a lot of books, running a lot of experiments, doing a lot of dumb shit and weird stuff. And that took for around 4 years. I think I got to these visuals where I started to take them seriously, and I actually finally started to experience some sort of audience growth, and some like freelance gigs came in, which was like mind blowing, because previously it was nothing like that. It was just crickets and doing random stuff online.
Yeah, so I'm interesting in the part when you are doing your normal job, let's say, and at the same time you were doing some kind of the side job. Is it right?
It would be like I guess I would call it like passion projects, because I guess one thing was like I had a comfortable job. It was like it was just a normal 9 to 5 job, but all the stuff I did for my side hustle, was like I was going to the work, I was just listening to audiobooks or podcasts. That was just my thing, to learn stuff and consume stuff. It was super inspiring and interesting for me, because I didn't know anything of that. And I don't know, at that time, my first child was born, and I guess some sort of switch happened, because we like stopped, with wife watching TV in the evening, and we really early went to bed. And that was around the time when I was like trying out this waking up at like 4:30 in the morning. So I usually got some 2 hours before the work in, before like kind of went to work, and that was just my like kind of creative time. And then
Did you
during the
read the Miracle Morning?
I think I did it, but I really didn't like it. It was too. I guess it was from the too much from the cheesy
Hmm.
side of self help books. But I think who inspired me to wake up at those 4:30 was Jocko Willink. I think I read one of his books, which was that about leadership. I forget how it
Hmm.
extreme ownership. I think that was the book. Yeah, that I think inspired me for that stuff. But it was really cool, because I went early to the bed. I always when somebody asked me, "Oh my God, you wake up so early? That's so weird." But I go to the bed at 9:30. I get my hours. It's good stuff. If you go to bed at 11, 12, I never wake up at that early. Then I sleep in. So yeah, that was part of my creative time. Then lunch breaks, and whenever I was able, kind of to get some time alone, I didn't like spend time on other stuff. I was really interested in this, and that was just play for me. It was fun. It wasn't really business at the time. It was really just playing around, building some websites, writing some stuff, or doing whatever I liked.
I mean, because I'm asking because you have that, let's say, safe job that you can always back to that if something could can go wrong. But at the same time, I'm curious about what helped you during that, let's say, transition. I would call it in that way because you had always This is my understanding, that you had always something in mind, that one day you would like to leave the job and put 100% effort in this, what you actually would like to do. So what was the, let's say,
Yeah.
contributor, or what helped you during that?
Yeah, I can walk you through that story, how it happened. So at around like at around November of 2020, I was really kind of, I understood, okay, I really like this visual type of stuff. It's really interesting for me. It seems that it is sustainable to do it consistently, because it's mostly like, we can go to that like later down the line, but it's mostly brainstorming. You don't need to sit at your computer, and type for 2 hours. You can really just walk around, or do the dishes or whatever, and kind of think up of some concepts, and then sit down at your laptop or iPad or whatever and sketch out, one visual which you thought about for 2 hours, but designed it like 15 minutes or something. So it felt sustainable. I really liked it. I liked to consume a couple of other things, which was like, this is really interesting, and seems that people like this sort of stuff. And then I kind of made a commitment to do like one visual every day. I had a challenge with my friend, which we can talk about later. But basically, at that November of 2020, there was this commitment on this path, and I just started. And I remember I really committed at the beginning on Twitter, and I started slowly to get some sort of engagement. There was slow and steady. And I remember around, I don't know, April of 2021, I think I maybe was like, still it was like 1,000 or under 2,000 followers on Twitter, which was like, at that time, it was like huge, because I, I had like zero before, and there was like engagement, and people liked that work and commented, and it was just, it blew my mind. And what really surprised me, that some sort of freelance gigs started to roll my way. They asked like, "Hey, can you do this for me?" And I was like, I didn't want to commit, because like I had my day job and everything. I didn't want to like overcommit, and with like the family and stuff. But that was kind of the validation. I was like, okay, some audience is growing. Seems that people are liking this stuff. I can maintain the, like, this feels sustainable for me even with my 9 to 5 job. Some freelance gigs are rolling in. At that time, like, all the COVID thing was going on, so we were not going a lot like outside. So we managed to save up some money. And actually, the like initiator of quitting the job, because it was a bit stressful at that time, the initiator was my wife, because we managed like kind of to save up some money, and we kind of sat down and we laid out the plan, and we looked at it and was like, okay, with all the like government supports, if I quit my job now. And she was on like the paternity leave, like with our second kid. And yeah, we kind of laid out the plan. We understood, okay, even if like this goes to complete shit, we are good for like around 1.5 years. And as I was in IT project management, I felt like I'm in a pretty demanded kind of, what is this like?
Industry.
Yeah,
Is it?
exactly. I was kind of in demanded industry. What's the worst case scenario? I can go back, and then we just pulled the plug. We pulled the plug, and it wasn't like I started to take on freelance at the moment, because we had that like safety net, and I think it was really good for me. I'm really grateful that I had this safety net, and I was able to more to work on growing audience instead of like really spending time working for other people. But later down the line, I started to take in some freelance, but it was mostly something I really felt, okay, this is like good money, good partnership. I really want to do this, not like I feel like I need to do this. So that was kind of the transition, and yeah, since then, all have been good.
So first of all, plan to have some kind of safety plan in case of that something will go wrong. This is my point of view, and also commitment to do it consistently, because I think that your results didn't happen overnight. I mean, it requires some time, but this at the same time, I understood that you should first of all be able to commit that, okay, every day I will be creating that kind of stuff. But secondly, you had that in mind, that if something go wrong, you have always that plan to that you can actually back to your normal job, because
Yeah.
it won't be a problem, right? But if someone will come to you and ask, okay, Yanis, I'm in the same situation, I mean, not in the same situation, but I have the idea. So, but that person will ask you, what kind of mistake did you do during your journey?
In terms of like
Aka lessons learned, let's call it that
quit,
way.
quit. Yeah, well, in terms of quitting, I think I did it quite good. I'm like, because of course, it depends on the situation. Are you like 20 years old without any obligations, without any like loans, kids and that sort of stuff,
You can
and
take higher
uh,
risk, right?
yeah, exactly. Or you are, maybe more conservative or whatever. So kind of you need to understand that. But I think it's pretty good when you don't need to rely on your creativity like right out of the gate to make money. I think it's a good position to be in, because when you are in that position kind of to make money, I don't know, I think it can go various ways. I'm speaking from my one experience, because we all know there are stories from the other angle where people are like, F this job, I will quit and I will make it work, and they make it work, through whatever pain, sacrifice, and hard work. Who knows? So there are various ways how to approach this. um, so yeah, that's kind of more when we talk about the transitioning part. But previously, I know I did a lot of things. Those 4 years to kind of figure out what you want to do. I think it's a pretty long time. I believe if I would like commit earlier on that I really want to make this like a full-time thing, Giannis, figure this out, do the right things, I would probably, publish things earlier. I would really would listen to like kind of, I don't know, I guess market signals or something like that, where you see that people want this stuff. Because I was really most of the time I was doing stuff that was just fun for me. It was play like a kid in a sandbox, just doing things that felt like nice and interesting, and market didn't care, and I really didn't care if market does care. I was just like having fun and having a blast, and it was interesting for me. So I kind of don't regret, but I'm sure you don't need to take 4 years kind of to figure out stuff. So yeah, definitely need to do things early. I think really helpful thing for me was because when things started to kick off for me, I remembered I joined like Jack Butcher's Visualize Value community. You were able like kind of to join just his community, and that was super helpful for me. Not because there was some particular like advice or something, but it was just first time, because none of my friends had been doing this. I was the only stuff. So a lot of the time I felt like a lone wolf, doing my things, and then just, listening to podcasts and audiobooks. And I didn't have anyone kind of to turn to and really talk about this stuff with the same like level of passion. But in that community, I was able to start to develop some friendships and stuff like that. And that was just so life changing, because it's so freeing when you see like that you're not some sort of loser. Everybody is kind of this in the same situation, similar people with flaws and stuff, and struggling and having some successes. So that was really good. So joining some sort of community can be super helpful.
Yeah, I think the same, that if you start something new, for example, if I when I started my blog about personal development, somehow I don't know by and what was the reason, but people came up, I don't know, in my Google search. Okay, I know what is the reason behind that, but yeah, I think that sort of thing like community is really helpful, and it's good that there are people who would like to actually help you in many cases without any profit for them. It's just only for knowledge sharing. So you because before I found you in the internet, I didn't know any person who actually is doing that kind of thing. So I was thinking about that you were first.
No,
Who-
there's definitely a couple of other, but I think this space has a bit blown up. But at the same time, I'm thinking I'm in a bubble because I'm surrounded by those people. Because I have a course, and I'm hanging and following around those people, and it's just like a chain reaction, and I'm in some sort of bubble. I still think it's pretty not that super popular, but there's definitely this thing has been around for quite some time.
Before we move on to the, let's say, what we are doing actually and how we are doing it, I would like to ask if you have any specific strategy for your personal brand, or you just follow some kind of, let's say, mm, people in the same who are doing the same, and actually you are trying to build personal brand based on someone's experience, or you have your own strategy for building that personal brand and audience?
Usually, I guess I try. I like to figure out kind of my own recipe for things, by taking a lot of other recipes and maybe adding my own twist to it. But I guess I just like it because I don't know, there's more ownership in that. When it's not like you read the book and do it like point by point, but when you kind of mix things up and make it your own, it might take slower often because you're just running into walls and you're making mistakes that others have made. But I don't know, there's some just different level of authenticity and ownership into that. But that's kind of very vague talk here. um, about specifically how I approach my kind of personal brand and my presence online. One of the advice I follow and which I got from heard from Tim Urban, who is the author of Wait But Why blog. He has
Mm.
the saying that when he writes his blog, he imagines that he is in a stadium and he writes for that stadium, which is full of Tim Urbans, basically full stadium of himself. So he is his audience, and that's something how I approach my own work as well. Like I make stuff that I would like to consume. When I make my newsletter, I made it in a format that I would like to consume. Uh, and when I like share things online, I try to follow the same approach. I try to be, because I like to follow people, various people. I like people who share a lot of like building public stuff and whatnot. But I have noticed that I really like those accounts which maybe are more like high signal, and they maybe post once a day or maybe a couple of times a week, but it's like really good stuff. And then I really lean in when they share something, because I know it's not fluff or something. If you tweet like 10 times a day, it's hard just to keep up with it, and you get tired and you start to ignore that person. So that is another kind of approach how I go about this. It's mostly just paying attention what I like, and then I kind of create something similar, and I believe I attract kind of similar people to me, which means like kind of my audience maybe is a bit similar to me. So I don't know. That's kind of my thinking there. Yeah, take it or leave it.
Yeah, I think one of the way actually is to follow the trends. Actually, if this is my opinion, that if one person in the industry is starting doing something, there is a high chance that another person in that industry will be doing the same, right? So do you see any changes in your, let's call it as an industry, over this time that you are doing that?
in like in sharing visuals most of the time.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
the type of the visuals, the, let's say, I'm the newbies to that topic, so let's call it as a, what type of the visuals, how do you present the ideas?
Not sure actually. I think there definitely was a wave when like Jack Butcher and the stuff that he shares, right, with visualized value. Or
Not
you're not
really.
aware of? Okay,
Not
yeah.
really.
Yeah, well, I'll send, but yeah, probably some people who listen definitely know him, and he has these more like geometrical type of illustrations. He has like black canvas and simple white lines, so it's very minimalistic, super minimalistic, and very like
Yeah.
clean. You
Okay.
definitely have seen them for sure. I'm
Mhm,
like,
yeah. Okay.
like
Right now I recognize them. Okay.
yeah. So and then there was a trend where he really like rose up, and a lot of people, of course, jump in and start to kind of to imitate him and create something similar. Uh, and I think there was a boom for that, and that I think has a bit calmed down, and now I think there's various formats like both the geometrical style and more like the colorful, a bit playful style that kind of I do, and I mix it up, a lot of with like charts and processes as well. But at the same time, every now and then I'll throw in some sort of analogy with some whatever, cheese or truck or whatever. So I don't know. That's maybe one change, but not too much. I think it's kind of following kind of the same rules. I guess one change which I try to do a bit differently right now is I try to create some written content as well, because I don't want to like produce like visuals. I'm mostly am interested in kind of sharing ideas, and to me it's like it's just another vehicle for sharing ideas. It's not like, oh, I love these visuals so much. It's just a very effective vehicle how to share particular ideas. and I guess that's why I'm doing it. But I want to transition and kind of master, a bit of the newsletter stuff and writing as well. So that's kind of I'm in the early days of that. So
So, so who is your audience actually? Did you try to analyze that? I don't know what age they are or what from where they're coming. No.
no, I don't pay too much to analytics, to be honest. I think I should. I think I should probably be a bit more strategic about it. But to be honest, I really, I'm not. I'm doing the stuff I would like to consume, I guess, and I hope I'm attracting people, who are a bit in self help and are interested in this like online business, creative, digital stuff, this some sort of thing. But I don't have any specific audience that I'm really trying to target. I'm just trying to do what is super fun for me, and super interesting, and at the same time making it as a business, and then living my best life and just helping others. So that's kind of my North Star guidance type of mission statement, if you can call it like that. Probably not.
Yeah, I'm asking because your content is kind of universal. I mean, it's not attached to any group of people, so everyone could benefit from that. This is my point of view. So let's move on to the process itself. Of course, in case what you can share, how your creative process look like. Yeah, and I need to pause the dot here.
Yeah, creative process. It's again, I will go on a ramble and rant because it's not like super 1, 2, 3 type of process. And maybe before I do, I can just mention that I have a lot of like free resources who are interested in doing similar type of stuff, which you can get just by going to ozo.le/free. That's where you can find a lot of
I will put also in the description the link
no, it's not. It's
for
not
sure.
Ozoli. It's actually ozo.is. I'll share you the links later on. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. But
okay.
but 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 there's a lot of stuff which people can check out if they want. But kind of to rant on this on this a bit. Kind of what's the process? There are a couple of core elements. One of the things I said to you, I don't look at visuals just as this fancy, pretty art. I can go to an art gallery and appreciate like beautiful arts and paintings and whatnot, but to me it's different type of stuff. It's not really communicating ideas to me. It has this emotional type of vibe, but to me visuals are just a vehicle for effective communication. And what I really pay attention to is just okay, what I'm trying to communicate. I think this is a concept I got from somewhere else, and it kind of went to me kind of instinctively. But I remembered when I was working with Sean Perry, who was like a entrepreneur type of guy. um, he has this like writing advice, and he's always, when he like writes an emails or writes Twitter threads or whatever, he always thinks, what is the emotion I'm trying to evoke from my audience. So, and that's kind of similar how I think about my visuals. I might sit down and think like okay, I have this concept, about, for example, what I shared today. It was about like kind of big stack of paper and then super small stack of
Mhm.
paper, and the big stack was like attempts, and successes. So kind of when I look at it, it's like okay, what I want to communicate with this. Okay, I want to communicate, for people to just understand that it takes shitload of attempts to probably to get to those couple of successes. So just keep trying, keep going. And that's kind of how I go about this. It's very intentional. It's not like I'm just throwing some sort of like words there and visuals and hope it kind of will resonate. There is a lot of intention behind it, and sometimes it works and works well. Sometimes I'm overthinking it in my head and it's not really resonating with people. So it's really helpful to like, I usually ask like my wife or some friend to for a quick feedback. Is this like at least clear? So yeah, like mentioning clarity is a big part of it. Like always, I think a lot of the times people go with clever versus clear. And I think like if you want people to resonate, and if you want people to like whatever pay attention and share with friends, aim for clear. Okay, be clever every now and then, it's fine, but don't do it in the form of like sacrificing clarity. Clarity is extremely important. What else comes to mind? Something else that I kind of teach people is this concept of amplifying ideas, because often people, you might have some sort of quote about love or something, and then you just illustrate some sort of hearts, and that's kind of, to me, is like visual representation. It doesn't really add any meaning to the quote or whatever. It's just, okay, you're sharing hearts,
Is that
okay. Yeah,
you are
please.
presenting the same? You are presenting the same what you have on quote, right?
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
by
It's
doing
it's
that.
not, yeah, exactly. It's not really adding to it. Sometimes maybe with, some Venn diagrams or something, you can explain the same concept from visual perspective, and somebody might resonate with that a bit better. But it's really cool when you kind of take the idea and then you just work with that idea and understand, okay, what this idea, what emotions it evokes, what's the beneath here, how we can go about this a bit differently, how we can amplify this idea, by maybe illustrating this, and then, I don't know, maybe creating some sort of question, in that concept, which like triggers you this whatever. It's hard maybe to explain without any examples, but that is my thinking process when I go about this. So yeah, kind of like simplicity, cutting the clutter, being clear, having the intention, what are you trying to share. I think another very important point, which was really helpful for me at the beginning, I was illustrating a lot of things around creative struggles. Well, I'm still doing it every now and then, but I think it's very important. That's something I learned when I started to like read parenting books. It's about like, you need to acknowledge kids' feelings before before they will start listening to you. Nobody wants to hear like advice. I don't know, an example I usually give. If you have a tough day at work, you go home, you are tired. You open the door, then your wife waits you there and says like, "Why you look so sad or whatever." And then she's like, you need to sleep more, you need to eat healthier. Like, nobody wants to hear this. What we want here is like, oh, honey, you had a hard day at work. Yes, I did had a hard day at work. And then kind of your feelings are acknowledged, you open up. And that's some sort of stuff I do with illustrations every now and then. I think sometimes people are a bit too obsessed about this value, give me ideas, give me the next hack, the next thing. I think often we just need to acknowledge people's feelings. I think that's a pretty good thing to do every now and then.
I would say from this what you are saying that first of all you are trying to provoke the specific self reflection, right?
That's a
Or
really good way how to put this. Yes, very good. I
so
need to
for
write this
example,
down. I'll listen to this. It's 33 minutes in. I need to
I
steal
mean,
that.
yeah, because you. This is what I also would like. I'm trying to do with my post that I would like to avoid this ambiguity, if I pronounce it correctly. But what is the source of inspiration for you? I mean, taking a shower is one of the example, but do you have any specific source of inspirations?
Yeah, about inspiration and like from where the ideas come from, it's all over the place. But like one of the like main things which I always do is I take notes. When the idea comes, I need to take notes. It's like, I don't know, if I will have the idea in the car, I will either like speak to my phone or or stop on the side. I will write it down because I know I will forget it. And sometimes like really good and crisp inspiration comes you in the most random moments. So I usually take it down. So I think one of the things is like, you kind of need to tune up your awareness, a bit more, and you kind of need to look for the ideas when you go about your day, because it's really like everything. I don't know, sometimes I'm listening to some Spotify playlist and I see they have very interesting cover. I'm like, that could be like an interesting metaphor. So I just snap a picture of that, save it to my phone. If I listen to podcasts or audiobooks, there's some interesting things like, I had like interesting experience about this thing, so I quickly note down the experience. And then when I want to create my visuals, whatever, I sit down, I open my notes, and I just scroll around and see whatever, resonates to me with that moment. And then I dive deep, and then I just work with that idea and see how and what I can make of it. But like the ideas really come from like everything: my own struggles, thoughts, podcasts, audiobooks, social media, showers, as you said. So it's all over the place. There is no specific place, but the main thing is to take notes, and take them right away because you will forget it.
Yeah, I saw some people who has the whiteboards under the shower. Do you have the
Yeah.
same, if I may ask?
No, no, I don't have, but I've had been, sometimes if I'm in the shower, I will like stick to that thought. I need to remember
Have
this,
the same.
or I will have like phones right out of the shower, so I just quickly, dry my hands and write it down. I've had those moments, but no, I don't have the fancy waterproof whiteboard.
Yeah. Did you read the Big Magic book? Maybe.
Yes, it was a while, but I listened to it. It was amazing. It was amazing. I know. I think to which story you are referring right now, where there was this lady was running on her field to her notebook to the house to write down her
Yeah,
specific
yeah,
idea
this
or
is
something like that.
yeah, this is one story, but the general idea that ideas are flowing around people, and if you do not catch that idea, there is a huge probability that someone else will pick it up. And I had several situations like this. So, for
Yeah,
example, I was thinking about asking the author if I can help him to translate the book into Polish language, and I forgot about that. And a few months later, I went to the bookstore and that book in Polish language. When it was done 2 months ago. I,
that is
so
that's very interesting. Yeah, and I remember that book and I remember that idea, and I think it's a beautiful idea. That it was I think it was something around like that we are kind of these executors of the idea, and if the idea like comes to you, you have been this chosen executor of the idea, and if you kind of miss it, then it will continue to fly and find somebody else. It was a very interesting idea. I love it. It was super super awesome book.
what about the other authors? I mean, there are plenty of them. I mean, I know right now plenty of a few of them from the Instagram, for example. So my question is more about, you saw some visual from other author and you said, great idea, I would like to do the same. So do you do that kind of thing, that you are taking someone's idea but you are presenting in a different way, let's say?
Most of the times, no. Maybe super, super rarely, but usually I follow a lot of visual accounts, but most of those accounts are people from my course, and I'm usually like supporting them just by clicking like and stuff like that, just to support each other. But I really don't look to others kind of to replicate visual work because I don't know. I have plenty of my own ideas, and it's just usually when you take something and you imitate it super closely. I'm just not that proud of that idea. I like to kind of
Hmm.
come up with my own recipe, and sometimes I might come up, with something similar that others have came up. But then I don't care because like my conscience is clear. I came up with this. I struggle with this. It came from me. So that's kind of cool. But all of this, I really want to encourage people who are starting out, to imitate more. I think David Perel, who is like about this online writing thing, he's really has this nice quote or something, which is like imitate then innovate, and I think it's a really nice like quote and idea to keep in mind, especially when you're starting out, because I know how freaking hard it is at the beginning to create. And then I think it's super cool if you imitate and you take something similar concept if you don't have anything else, and just like try to do different colors and a bit different style and mix some sort of things up, so it's different, and bring your own idea in, or something else, but create. And that's how you start, and then you will start to innovate over time. Don't let this feeling of I need to be extremely original stop you from kind of starting and progressing, because the originality will come later down the line. That's just something I want to add when you are asking this question, but because I think it's a common fear for creatives.
But I think that, do you feel inspired by other authors somehow, maybe? I mean,
Um, of
I'm asking
course, of
because
course, yeah, yeah. Like
Mhm.
I can add at the beginning. There is this beautiful account called Liz and Molly, and she actually was one of the triggers who made me talk about feelings as well, because her whole theme is about feelings at work. So basically feelings that you feel in corporate world and stuff like that, and as an introvert and stuff like that, they are really illustrating stuff around those things, and they were one of the like early inspirations that kind of got me going. And I think then I was imitating a bit more, but yeah, kind of moving forward, definitely I try to like come up with different things on my own. But yeah, for sure, like inspiration, yeah, is all over the place.
And at the same time, another question came to my mind. Why do you think these visuals are so, let's say, powerful, but at the same time, people would like to see them? Is it because they are, really short to read? Let's call it in that way. Or is there any other reason behind it? I mean, I'm not asking if you do any specific research on that, but I'm just curious if there's, in your opinion, is there any reason behind
Well,
popularity of that?
I think there are two things. One of the things which you mentioned exactly, it's like very quick to digest, and kind of the reason behind it. The world is just insane right now, super fast pace. Everything, social media, blah blah blah, TikToks. Everything is short and quick, and if you can't grab people's attention in split second, you're like gone. If you don't have credibility, I think this is a very powerful thing for visuals. If your credibility is low, nobody knows me and stuff, it's easier to get your ideas noticed and stuff, because you can like not only capture the attention, but you can deliver a full-on concept sometimes in a couple of seconds, which is like very powerful, and that gives like, very cool, click like or whatever. So the speed of delivery, that's one. And the second thing I think is novelty, because we all have consumed text so much, but like with visuals you can kind of take a very common ideas and just package them in interesting metaphors on something like that, which would just maybe emphasize still that meditation is cool. I have this, maybe you have seen that visual where there's this truck, and then there is like the truck is
Mhm.
meditation, and then there is mental clutter is like the bumpy road ahead. And what that visual does, it basically just tells you that if you have like mental clutter, meditation can help. And that idea have been around for like ages. Millions of people have talked about it, but nobody have seen it in that visual representation, and that is that novelty where it's like, I've never seen this like this, and that's really cool. And that's kind of cool because yeah, we have these loads of ideas, but with visuals you can kind of automatically almost package them in a novel way, which is I think very powerful as well. So quick delivery, novelty is I think two very powerful levers for why visuals work pretty well online and get good traction and stuff.
I can call you as a guy who are taking the complicated or very complex ideas from the personal development. Like people are writing a huge books about these ideas, but you are taking them and putting in a very simple, short way that people understand in a second. I mean, I'm seeing that your visual and okay, this is the what I need to do in order to get that. But instead of that, I could take the book, read that, think about that. But reading a book might be much longer, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a high praise, and I would probably twist it more to say that my visuals could, and kind of my goal, my like aspirational goal with this is like kind of to pull more people into the self development and into like the creative economy. And I think visual is a good vehicle for that, to get you curious and kind of to get you going, because you can see one visual about like meditation and mental clutter, and I'm pretty sure it will not like trigger you
It's
right
not
away to
enough.
action about this. But if you like, if that inspires you to read more about meditation and stuff, and then you like listen to a couple of books, which is like 12 hours of just somebody just dumping you on ideas and why this is good and science and blah blah blah, everything else, then maybe you actually start to commit or something like that. So it's like almost like a, I hope that it gets people curious about things and stuff. But yeah, I guess sometimes it's helpful and motivational for people. So of course it's cool to hear.
And what about your personal development?
Yeah, it's all over the place.
I
it's
mean, how do you develop yourself? Maybe not as a human, because I mean, as human is also might be interesting, but
Uh,
also as an author, creator, business owner, social media ninja, and so on.
Well, I would definitely say that I'm 100% work in progress. And I think when I really started to listen to self-help type of stuff, then I was extremely motivated, to apply this and that and habit trackers and journaling and then like you take all the super advice and try to implement it and then usually fail. But over the years, I think, as I previously mentioned, like I like to create my own recipe for things, and it's similar for self development. I pick ideas and I see how I feel, and then I try to think about it like, is it pure laziness, or maybe there is something to it, and I should approach this maybe differently. Maybe I'm wired differently or whatever. So I'm definitely not pushing myself too hard. I think I'm trying to do things which feels okay. Some people think like waking up at 4:30 is insane. To me, it's very nice. It's super freeing. I go early to bed. It means like my evenings are in general more healthy. Not like super long movies. Of course, every now and then it's fine. It's not like I'm doing it 100% every day, but during the work days it's like really cool because I wake up, it's like my mind is clear. I can 2 3 hours focus on work before the kids wake up and everybody else. It's just complete silence. It's bliss for me. So that's like a good thing I do. In terms of sports, I'm not forcing myself to go to the gym. I maybe lift some weights and do some stuff 20 minutes at home, and I ride a bicycle because I just find it fun. So I'm really looking for things which comes kind of naturally for me. But of course, at the same time, I'm looking at things like, I really suck at this. I really suck at this focusing thing or whatever. I need to figure it out, and then I just try to figure out something. But it's not like I'm this machine or whatever who is just applying every possible advice and try to kind of punch through the wall. I'm trying to find a very human and easy and nice way how to just live and be productive and do all of this thing. I don't know if this made any sense, but yeah, definitely work in progress. Trying to find things which fits good for me. Yeah.
This is what you said at the beginning reminds me about the one of the thought that one of my previous guests said in the podcast, that we cannot be the addicted. Yeah, like we have the drug addiction, right? We cannot be that person in terms of the personal development. So we cannot, I mean, we can consume a lot, but I think in terms of the personal development, it's not about how much we consume, but how much we implement in life.
Definitely, yeah. I guess here one thing which I would probably add, and which is often the thing I hear, because like since I started listening to personal development, like I think I've listened to like 130 books, like huge amount of books, implemented maybe 0.3 0.5% of the stuff that I consume, which might seem ridiculous. What a waste of time, Giannis. But I wouldn't say so, because to me it was, some people enjoy sitting down and watching series or Netflix. I enjoyed listening to personal development or watching personal development YouTube videos. It was just like an entertainment for me. But at the same time, it's like a useful entertainment. It broadened my perspective. It made me realize what things are out there. So later in life, when I come to something, I can, hey, there was this, book, there was this idea about this, and then I can kind of go pick it up, and it just, I think it broadens your perspective as well. So it's not, I think, only about implementing, but if you like it and love it, why not? Of course, if you listen to self development and then you feel like shit by not implementing it, then this is a different story. But it wasn't the case for me. So I guess again, you need to understand yourself.
I mean, I would say that if you are reading that self-help books or you are watching any, I know, videos on YouTube and so on, there is always a chance that there will be something that you will implement. This is my perspective in terms of the self-help books, tutorials, and so on and so forth.
I think it's a good I think it's a good aim, kind of. I will listen to this book and I will figure out something. At least I will try. I will try to implement it and
One
see how it
thing.
feels. Yeah, yeah. I think it's a good idea, and definitely probably a more healthy idea than just listening and throwing it away and not implementing anything. Because
But
yeah,
And what about your skills as a creator? Let's call it in that way. Do you have any own way of developing that skill? Is there any way actually to develop that? What is kind about the creativity?
Well, of course, one thing is, read books, listen to other creators, what they are saying, podcasts and all that sort of stuff. It's all helpful and it can give you some guidance. But like the amount of stuff you learn by actually doing, trying, failing is just exponentially different than just consuming, listening, and not doing much. So definitely trying things out, build something. It doesn't mean you'll need to publish it right away. Bounce it with some friends, join some communities. Just try things, run into balls. That's how you learn the faster, I think. Because yeah, during I think those 4 years when I was kind of trying to figure things out and nothing was really progressing, I was definitely in a place where I was like consuming 80% and doing like 20% maybe, of the time which I was spending to it. So it was a huge difference. Now I'm like producing 80% and consuming 20%. Now I'm in a different position and it's going way, way, way better for me. Of course, it's because of the progress as well. So I kind of want to go back a bit actually and to consume more stuff and just get new ideas and be maybe more strategic about the business or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Definitely doing things, trying things is the way how to learn and join communities. That's super helpful as well.
This is what actually I expect to hear, that learning by doing. Actually, it's idea that also stick to me, I would say. And the last part that I would like to talk about in our conversation is about, actually, because I only see one side of your business is about visuals that you are creating and presenting on social media. I know that you have the course dedicated to that, so maybe you can talk a little bit what we are actually doing there, and actually what people who are attending that course is actually doing.
Uh, yeah, the course is just it's course and community. It's called like explain ideas visually, and I basically teach the stuff I do and that you can see me online. And the way how that course actually was born was just when I was gaining some traction, some success online or whatever. Some people just started to ask me, "Hey, Janis, can you teach me to this? How do you do this, etc., etc." And I made a couple of like free threads and just shared my process. But like demand was pretty big. By pretty
Right.
big, I mean maybe 10 people reached out me directly and asked for something like that, and that I considered like as a big enough validation. So I understood, okay, I really feel confident about this thing. I have things to share. I can completely explain like my process or whatever. I have taken some courses, so I know how I would like to consume the course, and that was similar way how I build it. Meaning it's like I think it's pretty less fluff. You can really quickly kind of go through the main modules and get results. That was kind of the main thing. I don't want to be super polished or whatever. I just want you to get results. So that's kind of how I built it. And yeah, did a pre-sale, sold the course, people joined. It's been doing really well. And kind of the reason, like there is this self-paced course where I basically just explain my process, what you need, blah 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 blah. There are some behind the scenes where you actually see my thinking process and how I create these visuals. And then there is a community which itself is like very nice because people help each other. There's, I answer questions and all that sort of stuff. But one of the main reasons why I created that community was because I understood, I know how much self-paced courses suck in terms of that people kind of listen to the advice, but it's not enough. You okay, I understand, and then nothing happens. Or you don't get the feedback or whatever. And that's why I created the community. And in the community, I have these direct feedback sessions where basically people just publish their work that they have created, and I just record these Loom videos, and I share my thoughts. Okay, I think this is good. I think this you could do maybe a bit differently because of this and that. It's maybe not resonating. It's not really clear or whatever. So there is this back and forward feedback, and that's been really helpful. And a lot of people who have not been like designers or whatever have really crushed online. And yeah, now it's good friendships, and then they are doing their things, and it's been great. I'm really, yeah, really blessed about the the thing that it has given to me, and seems that others are enjoying it as well. So that's a short pitch about it. But yeah, feel free to check out those free resources. There is a lot. You don't need the course or whatever, the same as me and others have figured this out on their own, you can do too. So yeah, the main thing I think is just commitment, desire, and understanding. Okay, this is something I would like to do, and then just lean in, commit, and believe you can figure it out, and you definitely can.
So all of your, let's say, clients, students, maybe it's a better word, are the people who would like to start their, I don't know, Instagram account, Twitter account, or that kind of thing, or maybe they need that skill. Let's call it as a skill to do something at their work.
Yeah, well, main thing I would say is 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 you need to like it. You need to. This should be a format that you kind of like to consume. But of course, you need to start to create to understand if it's something that you like. But a lot of people, I would say, a lot of people who take this course are usually aspiring creators who, just like me, have tried like YouTube and a bit of blogging and this and that have felt really hard or like an uphill battle, which was the case for me. And as I said previously, visuals are pretty easy in terms of, everybody loves to do brainstorming and walk around and, draw some things on the whiteboard. That's fun. That is, for most people, it's play. And that is like the main creation process for the visuals, because actually sitting down and drawing them is not that hard when you kind of get used to a couple of things. So usually it's aspiring creators, of course, somebody maybe who want to do freelance. But again, I would not start to do this if, okay, this will give me freelance gigs. Okay, I will do this. You need to like it. I think if you don't like it, then usually I don't see much success. But yeah, there are some other people who have joined as well for their corporate things, who just want to communicate clearly. Because in general, I guess the usual concept is they see my work online. They usually see, okay, this gets a lot of traction. I guess if I will learn from him, if I will learn this, I might get distraction as well, And everybody wants attention online, and that's kind of why they are giving it a shot. I think that would be a long answer to your question.
Yeah, because I was thinking about when we are talking right now that it might be really useful in a corporate world that there are so many presentations, so many presentation with many pages that nobody would like to read at the end of the day, and people are wasting a lot of time doing that presentation. So maybe I think that it might be useful for many people that you learn how to present things on one page, for example, in a visual way, and actually it might save a lot of time for the corporation. Maybe it's a good idea for the course. Hmm. Maybe
Yeah,
you can
no,
think about that.
definitely a corporate direction is a direction where to go. And I don't know. I'm still thinking, do I want to go there or not? Because I have some clients who are in that industry, and I kind of, there's certain problems to it, or there are certain aspects which maybe I don't enjoy that much. I guess if I could, I would rather skip working with corporations. But it's a thing. I just need to test it. But there's definitely the use case is all over the place. As I said, it's a vehicle for
Mhm.
effective communication, and show me an industry where that is not needed. So it's kind of same as good. Everybody needs good writers, good copywriters, and whatnot. So it's kind of similar.
Yeah, cool. So what should I wish you for your future, let's say?
What you should wish
Sometimes
me?
I'm asking my guests.
I don't know. I don't
You
know.
have three
That's
wishes to the goldfish.
to
Yeah,
the
is
gold.
it
Three
goldfish?
wishes to the goldfish.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I would have three wishes to the goldfish, I guess one of my wishes would be, I don't know, less division in the world. That would be my wish, because I think everybody is crazy, just pulling each other apart of their whatever their specific ideas. I think we need more unity in the world, and yeah, and that's so not a selfish ask, a global ask. That would be my ask. I don't know. For myself, everything is good. I think I need to keep doing my thing and focus on the right things, and I guess yeah, I don't know, all is good. I think I need more or less what I need to do, and I'll be doing my best. No wishes.
So then I wish you all the best then.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks for the conversation. And I hope that it will be very useful for people who would like to start with that and actually who are interested in that topic. So yeah, thanks for that conversation and speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. It is good. It is good. Thanks.